Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tips. My name is Julian, and we've got another exciting episode for you today. We're going to be talking about the players that you should be picking up off that waiver wire for week 5 of the fantasy schedule. Before we get started, guys, please leave a like, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. I would really appreciate the support. So let's jump right into it. Talking briefly about the schedule, there are 4 off nights next week: Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, but there is a decent amount of teams playing on all those nights, except maybe Sunday, so you don't really have to target teams that are playing on off nights as much as you might usually do so. Going forward through this video, if you see the schedule logo next to any of these players' names, it means that they play on 2 or more off nights, and those are guys that you can target if you really want some off night games. Jumping into some forwards that you should pick up for your fantasy team. First on the list is Cam Atkinson, Columbus Blue Jackets, 46% owned, and he's playing on a line with Patrick Laine and Jack Roslovic right now, and is also playing on that top power play in Columbus. That's pretty deadly, and he's doing really well. If he's available, you should pick him up right away. Next is Dustin Brown, LA Kings, 45% owned, and he's currently playing top line with Kopitar and top power play for the LA Kings. I mean, the Kings aren't the best team in the world, but right now Dustin Brown is producing. So as long as he is, he's a pretty good add to your team. Next on the list, guys, is Jack Roslovic, Columbus Blue Jackets, 41% owned. And like I just said with Atkinson, Roslovic is playing with Patrick Laine, both on the first line of the Blue Jackets and on their power play. He's a really, really good ad right now. He's got a 6-game point streak right now with a total of 9 points through those 6 games. You absolutely have to add him ASAP. Next is Jonathan Drouin, Montreal Canadiens, 35% owned. And I know the Habs haven't been playing as well lately, but they are still a very good team and should rebound pretty soon. Drouin is playing on a line with Suzuki and Josh Anderson and is playing top power play. He makes a pretty damn good ad. Next is Jordan Staal, Carolina Hurricanes, 32% owned, and he's got some nice off nights this week. And right now he's skating on the second line with Svechnikov and is producing like crazy. And what's more, he's on Carolina's top power play. So not only is he producing, he's actually been put into a place where he can continue to produce. I think he makes an absolutely excellent ad right now if you need a center. Next is Nick Ritchie, Boston Bruins, 31% owned, and it looks like he's got a permanent place on Boston's top power play, which is a really good place to be. He's really producing, and he's on Boston's second line as well, so that's not bad at all. Next is Nick Schmaltz, Arizona Coyotes, 30% owned. Right now, there are 3 Coyotes players that are super hot: him, Garland, and Dvorak. As long as these guys stay super hot, they're absolutely viable streamers. I'm not sure if they're long-term holds other than maybe Garland, but they're pretty good ads for the short term. Next is Carter Verhaeghe, Florida Panthers, 29% owned, and he's still playing on that top line with Duclair and Barkov, and they're doing quite well. I know the last few games it's been a little bit slower, but they look good on the ice, and they should continue to get points. Next is David Krejci, Boston Bruins, 28% owned, and he's still skating on that top power play with the Bruins because the Bruins have opted to go with 5 forwards instead of any defenseman on the power play, which is a little bit strange, but as long as he is there, he has some decent fantasy value and definitely could be part of your team. Next is Pavel Buchnevich, New York Rangers, 27% owned, and he's still skating on that top New York Rangers power play, as well as that top New York Rangers line with Kreider and Zibanejad. As soon as Zibanejad wakes up, Buchnevich is going to have an awesome season. Next is Paul Stastny, Winnipeg Jets, 18% owned, and I like him this week because he's still skating on that Winnipeg Jets top power play. Dubois may take that spot sometime soon, but for now, he's still on that top unit. I really like him this week because Winnipeg Jets play on 3 off nights. Next is Chandler Stevenson, Vegas Golden Knights, 12% owned, and he's currently centering Max Pacioretty and Mark Stone. That's all you need to know. Next is Pius Suter, Chicago Blackhawks, 9% owned, and he currently has triple eligibility, which is awesome. Not to mention the fact that the Blackhawks play on 2 off nights this week. He's a pretty decent ad, especially since he's playing with Patrick Kane right now. Next is Cody Glass, Vegas Golden Knights, 8% owned, and he's currently skating on that top power play with Max Pacioretty and Mark Stone, and could eventually end up playing on that top line with them as well. Last but not least is Alex Iafallo, LA Kings, 5% owned, and he's skating on that top line just like Dustin Brown and that top power play just like Dustin Brown and Kopitar. But for some reason, people aren't taking a second look at him but he is producing, and he's a really good grab if you're in a really deep league. Moving on to some defensemen. First on the list is Alec Martinez, Vegas Golden Knights, 48% owned, and I've been repping Martinez for quite a few weeks now, and finally he's really soared in ownership percentage. If you have a pool that has the block shots category, you absolutely have to grab Martinez because he is a shot blocking monster and will put up points too playing on Vegas' second power play. Next is Devon Taves, Colorado Avalanche, 42% owned, and he only ended up missing a couple of games with that injury because Colorado's games all got postponed. He's back now, he's healthy, and he should be doing just as well as he did at the beginning of the season, playing on Colorado's second power play unit. Rasmus Andersson, Calgary Flames, 26% owned, and he's still quarterbacking that top Calgary power play. He should absolutely be owned in a lot more leagues. Next is my must-add of the video, Josh Morrissey, Winnipeg Jets, 23% owned. And when I saw his ownership percentage, I almost couldn't believe it. He is quarterbacking that top Winnipeg Jets power play. That's a very, very deadly power play. In points leagues, he should absolutely be owned. And even in categories leagues, he's good pretty much all over the ice. Next is Michael Del Zotto, Columbus Blue Jackets, 18% owned. And I mentioned him in my injury video. Because Werenski's injured right now, Del Zotto really gains a lot of value because he's now skating on Columbus' second power play. Not to mention he's been playing great all year. Next is Noah Dobson, New York Islanders, 18% owned, and he should also be a lot more owned right now. He is quarterbacking the Islanders' top power play along with Pollock, so he has a really good opportunity to put up some points. Next is Jonas Brodin, Minnesota Wild, 10% owned, and if Minnesota does end up playing next week, Brodin's a pretty good ad right now because he's really good all over the ice, likes to block some shots, and he should have a decent offensive role due to Matt Dumba being injured. He should be playing on one of the power plays. Next is Adam Boqvist and Nicolas Baudin, Chicago Blackhawks, 6% and 0% owned. Right now, Baudin is quarterbacking the Blackhawks' top power play. But that may not last because Boqvist is going to return to the lineup very shortly. If he does, it'll probably be him quarterbacking that power play, but just double check to see if they don't keep Baudin there instead. Next is Shane Gostisbehere, Philadelphia Flyers, 4% owned, and he's currently also quarterbacking the Flyers' top power play. Who knows how long that's going to last, but for now, he's a pretty good ad. He's getting alongside Provorov on that power play, so you never know, maybe he'll rebound a little bit. Last but not least is Christian Djoos, Detroit Red Wings, 0% owned, and currently he's quarterbacking Detroit's top power play. So if you're really desperate and in a really deep league, Christian Djoos is actually a pretty decent ad. Who knows how long he'll actually stick on that top power play, but for now, he makes a pretty decent ad. Jumping into some goalies you should be adding to your lineup. First on the list is Cam Talbot, Minnesota Wild, 45% owned. Now, I understand that Minnesota hasn't played in a little bit due to some coronavirus concern, but once they start playing again, Cam Talbot is a starting goaltender. You absolutely should add him to your team now, and then he'll probably end up playing for you on Tuesday. Next is Chris Driedger, Florida Panthers, 37% owned, and right now Sergei Bobrovsky's actually looking a little bit better, but one slip up and Driedger could be seeing half the starts once again in Florida. Next is Mike Smith, Edmonton Oilers, 35% owned, and he finally came back from injury, and he's looking really good through 2 games, so he should be getting a good half the starts in Edmonton right now, so add him to your team while he's hot. Next is Brian Elliott, Philadelphia Flyers, 31% owned, and Elliott is going to be starting about half the games for the Flyers, at least for now. I understand that there's some coronavirus concerns, so the Flyers may not play anytime too soon, but when they do, Elliott should be getting about half the games. Next is Linus Ullmark, Buffalo Sabres, 29% owned, and he has really seized that starting job in Buffalo. Again, I don't know if Buffalo is going to be playing anytime soon. They should be. They've been out for a while, so Ullmark should be starting that first game that they're supposed to be playing on Monday against the New York Islanders. Next is Pekka Rinne, Nashville Predators, 26% owned, and he looks like he's stolen that starting job in Nashville from UC Saros. UC Saros has been terrible, so if you are a Saros owner, go ahead and grab Rinne, and even if you're not, if you're in a deep league, you need a goalie, Rinne's looking pretty good right now. Next is Devin Dubnyk, San Jose Sharks, 22% owned, and he's looking like the better goalie in San Jose right now. He looks like he's dealing with a minor injury, so Martin Jones might get another start or two, but after that, Dubnyk should get the majority of the starts. Last but not least, guys, is Cal Peterson, Los Angeles Kings, 14% owned, and he's looking like the starter in LA right now. He's playing so much better than Jonathan Quick and should be getting the vast majority of the starts. If you're in a deep league, you need a goalie, he's a pretty damn good one. All right, guys, you've reached the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. I really appreciate it. Please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment, ask me a fantasy hockey related question. I'll be happy to answer you. Until next time, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.